When we watch a runner's foot strike the pavement or a joint twist on the field, it is easy to view an injury as a simple, localized mechanical failure, a snapped ligament or a pulled muscle. But that isolated moment of physical damage is deceiving. The moment tissue tears, it triggers a massive, full-body physiological alarm. Viewing the injury as a local structural problem ignores how the body's entire metabolic priority shifts the moment a trauma occurs. We generally assume exercise builds a strong immune system, and moderate, regular activity does exactly that. But elite sports present a paradox. The relentless, heavy training loads required to compete actually depress immune function. This physical toll is compounded by what happens off the field. Poor sleep quality, long-haul travel across time zones, and intense psychological strain consistently wear down an athlete's natural defenses. This chart illustrates a primary driver of breakdown: low energy availability. When an athlete consistently burns more calories than they consume, their internal energy reservoir drains until it drops below a threshold of 30 kilocalories per kilogram of fat-free mass. Below that line, the body enters a state of triage. It diverts energy away from the immune system to maintain basic survival functions. Pathogen resistance drops, and the likelihood of a catastrophic physical breakdown increases. Chronic underfueling creates the specific systemic conditions required for an athlete to break. It ensures that when a physical stressor occurs, the body lacks the resources to withstand it. In the immediate aftermath of an injury, damaged tissue releases a flood of chemical signals, pushing the entire body into a state of high-alert systemic inflammation. Because the athlete is suddenly immobilized, it is often assumed they require significantly less daily energy from food. This graph reveals a more complex reality. While physical activity drops toward zero, the body's metabolic demand spikes as it attempts to repair the wound. To meet this demand, the body begins catabolism, aggressively breaking down its own muscle tissue to harvest energy. This process leads to rapid muscle atrophy and a total shutdown of the body's anabolic drive, stripping away strength within days of the initial injury. Post-injury immobilization is a highly destructive metabolic event. It requires aggressive intervention to prevent the body from consuming its own structural foundation. Managing this breakdown requires an understanding of immunometabolism, the biological interface where energy availability directly dictates whether immune cells survive and function. Precise, individualized clinical nutrition, centered on high-quality whole foods, provides the primary stabilizing force for this entire system. Specific nutrient profiles in these foods target the inflammatory cascade, providing the biological resources necessary to slow the rate of muscle wasting. This nutritional strategy is integrated with sleep management and a phased rehabilitation schedule to ensure the body can actually utilize the fuel provided. Clinical nutrition provides the architectural blueprint needed to bridge the gap between systemic failure and successful tissue repair. Because the body's needs change as it heals, recovery nutrition is strictly periodized to match each specific stage of rehabilitation. This dashboard highlights 3 metabolic targets. First, maintain energy availability over 45 kilocalories per kilogram of fat-free mass to fund healing. Second, preserve muscle with evenly spaced 20 to 30 gram protein feedings. Finally, 3 to 5 grams of carbohydrates prevents burning protein for fuel. Hitting these targets provides the specific raw materials necessary to halt protein breakdown. It creates the physiological conditions required to transition from muscle loss to active tissue synthesis. While athletes often turn to dietary supplements during recovery, scientific evidence for their routine use in this phase is highly limited. Targeted supplementation is reserved for the correction of documented medical deficiencies, such as a drop in vitamin D levels identified through laboratory screening. Unsupervised supplement stacking or high-dose antioxidants can actively impair cellular adaptation and delay muscle regeneration. Clinical nutrition acts as a core component of the return-to-play pathway, beginning the moment injury occurs. Aligning nutrient timing with physical therapy ensures that repaired tissue is resilient, allowing the athlete to return to explosive and fluid movement. Systemic recovery depends on whole food nutritional support to ensure the athlete adapts to the injury and returns with a reinforced physiological foundation.